Good afternoon. Welcome to Carolina Morning Meditations. I'm your host, Russ McCullough. I hope you're having a wonderful lunch hour and able to tune in today as we once again come to you to make friends, keep friends, and restore friends for Jesus Christ. We've been looking intently at the book of friendship, as we're calling it, the book of John. John was writing from a unique perspective. He was writing as one friend writes of another. And so we get perspectives that perhaps we don't find elsewhere. And we wanted to focus on this friendship aspect of this great book in this series of lessons. And a central theme in the book is Jesus reaching out to make friends. He's making friends of the friendless. He's making friends of the outcast. He's making friends of the outcast among outcasts. And he's making friends of his mortal enemies, his murderers. But the friends that he made that stuck through him through thick and thin were his apostles, 11 men after Judas failed by choice. At the end of the day, were faithful to Jesus. Jesus defines friendship. I am your friend if you do as I command. 11 out of 12 did. Sadly, Judas did not. Judas was replaced by Matthias, as you know. And so the 12 apostles on the day of Pentecost witnessed the risen Christ. Now, among these 12 men, 3 were closer to Christ than any. And one of the 3 was the closest. The 3 that were closest to Christ were Peter, James, and John. Sadly, not long after the establishment of the church, Herod killed James with the sword. John, however, was unique among the 12 because he did something none of the others did, and that is stay with Christ through his trial and went to Golgotha. With him, stood at the foot of the cross as Jesus gave his life for all. He was the only one that actually witnessed the crucifixion. And as a result, he had a special relationship with Jesus. And he was honored in a most unique way for this faithfulness. He was given the right and the privilege and the honor of writing the last will and testament, the revelation of Jesus Christ. And it was an explosive honor. But in this part of the book of John, he's relating Jesus' preparation of his apostles for his death, burial, and resurrection, something that they were not prepared for. And in this dialogue, we're in the middle of it, is where Jesus has just told them, you are my friends if you do as I command you. Not because he's dictatorial, but because he wants them to serve their own best self-interest. And that's what friendship with Jesus does. It allows us access to heaven because we're friends with Jesus and do as he commands. So today we want to begin with verse 23. And we'll go through chapter 16, verse 4. 15:23 through 16:4. Whoever hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works that no one else did, they would not be guilty of sin. But now they have sinned and hated both me and my Father. But the word that is written in their law must be fulfilled. They hated me without cause. But when the Helper comes, whom I will send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth, who proceeds from the Father, he will bear witness about me. And you also will bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning. I've said all these things to you to keep you from falling away. They will put you out of the synagogues. Indeed, the hour is coming when whoever kills you will think he is offering service to God. And they will do these things because they have not known the Father nor me. But I have said these things to you, that when their hour comes, you may remember that I told them to you. I did not say these things to you from the beginning because I was with you. And so Jesus is about not to be with them. He's going away. They don't understand it. He's preparing them. He's not going to leave them alone, however. He's going to send them the Helper, the Holy Spirit. In an apostolic sense of the word, they're going to be given the power from on high to recall all the things that Jesus said and did in those 3 years. No one else had that kind of ability. It was a gift of God, but only to these 12 witnesses. And he says, you're going to bear witness about me because you've been with me from the beginning. The beginning means from the Jordan when he was revealed as the Son of God. And he said these things to them to keep them from falling away. Because you can imagine if they'd had no preparation and Jesus were murdered, they would all just give up and go away. But he's preparing them so that they won't fall away, even though one, Judas, by choice, does. And he's gearing them up for what's eventually going to happen because they're friends of Jesus. They're going to be put out of the synagogues. Well, that doesn't seem like any big deal to us. But believe you me, in the first century Israel, to be put out of the synagogue was to become persona non grata, to become an enemy of the state, to become a non-person. You could not have employment. You could not have property. You could not have a family. Excuse me. You could not have your essence, your identity as a person if you were put out of the synagogue, because it was everything in the life of a Jew in Israel in the first century. Yes, they would have to give up everything for Jesus, holding nothing back whatsoever. And he's preparing them for that. And not only that, he says, they're going to kill you. And not only are they going to kill you, the people who are going to do it are convinced in their own deluded minds that they're somehow serving God. Wow. And why did they do this? Because they've not known the Father and they've not known Christ. But I'm telling you these so you can remember it later, he says. But what I want us to focus on is the statement that Jesus made in verse 25. They hated me without cause. This is a quote from Psalms 35:19, if you'll turn back there with me. Let those who rejoice over me, who are wrongfully my foes, and let not those who wink the eye who hate me without cause. I wanted to focus on this because this is the antithesis of friendship. It is definitional hatred, definitional sin, hating, wanting to murder an innocent person with no cause, no evidence, no reason whatsoever at all. That defined the enemies of Christ. That defines us without God. Because without God, we're at war with God. And as you know, is the ultimate definition of sin. It is all evil rolled up into one event. Yes, if you're outside of Christ, you're hating God without cause. You're seeking the death of God with no evidence, no reason. You're just consumed with hate. Now you might feel, I don't have anything against God. But what did Jesus say? He says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. What is the opposite of that? If you hate me, you will not keep my commandments. When we are outside of Christ and purposely sin, we're hating God, making war with God, seeking the death of God. It is the most serious condition that a man can find himself in. And so the appeal of Jesus is, it doesn't have to be this way. We do not have to be enemies. I'm here to make peace. Here are my terms. Keep my commandments and we'll be friends. If you keep my commandments, you'll love me. But if you refuse to keep my commandments, you're going to go on hating me. You're going to continue to be at war with me. And there's nothing but death and destruction at the end of that road. Yes, today we must ask ourselves the question, and every day we must ask ourselves this question. Am I hating God without cause? I hope and pray the answer is no. I hope and pray that you are a friend of Jesus, keeping his commandments, because his commandments are 100% for our benefit, for our reward, for our treasure, for our eternal favor. Well, appreciate so much you stopping by today and being with us as we share these thoughts. And today is the first day past the midweek. We're racing towards the end of the week, and as the Lord wills, and if time continues, Brother Dennis Smith will be with us Lord's Day at the Archdale Church of Christ Meeting House at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Hope you can join us there. And join us again tomorrow for another edition of Carolina Morning Meditations. Keeping, seeking, and restoring friends for Jesus Christ, because that's what life is all about. At the end of the day, the only thing that will matter, was I a friend of Jesus or was I not? Was I a friend or was I a foe? It's up to you. It's up to me. God bless you. See you tomorrow as the Lord wills.